Hello, good evening, everyone. We are glad that you could join us today once again for the third day of our 5 days training. And we are glad that you made time to be part of this training today as well. And we are grateful and we know that you are learning something. Some of you have asked questions. I try to also respond to those questions after the meeting. And I believe that we are learning something. I believe that you people are following us. And, I don't know whether we are going to give you a kind of test at the end of this training so that we can know who are those that really participated in the training. But as we complete the training, we will determine that whether we should give you a test or we should just issue you certificates, believing that you have participated fully in the training. But whatever may be the case, we will still let you know as we continue. My name once again is Ambassador Joshua. I'm the Registrar of the Institute of Global Peace and Conflict Management. And we are going to continue with our training from where we stopped. We stop at Module 2, where Unit 1. So we are going to continue from there. And just like we always say, if you have joined us, comment so that we know that you have participated. And then if you have a question, you ask in the comment section. We will also respond to your questions as much as possible. And then also, if you are joining us, you can also share it on your wall. Let others also see it. And then you can also share with your friends as well. Let them also see so that next time they can also benefit from a free training like this. Like I said, after this one, we're also going to introduce another free training. Maybe that one will be longer than this one because of what we intend to cover. Because we're going to look at diversity management. We live in a diverse society where we need to understand ourselves and also respect each other. So diversity management is key. So after this training, we are going to also train you on diversity management for those of you that will be interested to also join that one. So you can comment, you can share, you can like our live, and then I think we'll go to go. So once again, thank you very much for joining us. And we'll be going through our slides and then we'll be explaining as we continue. Like I say, just comment so that we know that you have joined, and also share with someone to also know that something good like this is going on. Thank you very much, and you're welcome once again. So like I said, we are in Module 2 of our training, and we're going to start from where we stopped, and we'll be looking at restorative justice practices. Restorative justice practices. Restorative justice practices. So when we talk about restorative, just like the word implies, restored. When you are trying to restore something, what do you want to do? You want to bring it back to its initial state, right? So when we talk about restorative justice practices, we mean these are the approaches to addressing conflict, harm, and wrongdoing that focus on repairing relationships, promoting accountability, and facilitating healing for all parties involved. You know, most especially when we are trying to resolve conflict that involves friends or communities that were once in a cordial relationship that will coexisting peacefully, and then suddenly a crisis break in, and then they went their separate way. And this is the kind of situation you are trying to address. So what you are trying to do is you are trying to restore the communities unto themselves. You are trying to restore a marriage. You are trying to restore a relationship. Good friends, okay? So what means here is that you are trying to address conflicts or harm or a wrongdoing, and you focus on trying to repair relationship, promoting accountability, and facilitating healing. Because once our relationship is broken, the first thing that you need to do to mend that relationship is to promote healing. The healing must take place. Healing must take place. It's a very important thing. For once healing takes place, reconciliation is possible. You understand? And then relationship continues. So these practices emphasize dialogue, empathy, and active participation in resolution process. So, like we have been hammering on empathy, we have been hammering on dialogue, we have been hammering on active participation, because the parties involved in the process must be allowed and be given opportunity to participate in the process of restoration. All right. So we talk about some elements or some restorative justice practices. Let's look at some of the restorative justice practices. We'll talk about restorative cycle. Restorative cycles. Okay, when we talk about restorative cycles, what are we talking about? We are talking about bringing together those affected by an incident or conflict to engage in a facilitated dialogue that is share their perspective and work towards a resolution. Now, when we're talking about restorative cycle, it simply means that, okay, we'll come to a round table, or we'll come as a community people, we sit together, and then we give everybody opportunity to say something. Okay, that is what we talk about fair hearing. That's to give everybody opportunity to say his own view or perspective or opinion in a way and manner they want to say it. All right. So because in the process of trying to hear, you allow people to express themselves freely and how they feel it. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. So you bring people together. That's what we call it a restorative cycle. You bring people together, they sit together, and then everybody begin to express his or herself according to how they were affected or they were involved in the incident. So what are the elements? What are the key elements to look at here when you are talking about a restorative cycle? One, we talk about participants sit in a circle to promote equality and open communication. That's why we say a circle, because when you sit in a circle, everybody is equal. Okay, everybody is equal. When it's a triangle, it's a different case, because you see angles of a triangle. So some are pointed out, so it's indicated something else. But when it's a circle, everybody is equal, round, right? So now everybody have an opportunity to speak. All right. So that's why we say by sitting in a cycle, what that means is that you are promoting what we call equality. All right. And then apart from that, you give everybody opportunity to say something, to communicate, open communication. All right. Everybody is listening to everybody as they speak. And then we talk about each participant has an opportunity to speak and be heard without interruption. That's what I'm saying. You allow people to express themselves freely, the way they feel and how they feel it. You are not interrupting them. Allow them to express it, because it's one of the process of healings. Okay, when people are angry, when people are aggrieved, one of the things that make them heal quickly is when they are able to express their pains. Okay, allow them, even if they want to vent their anger, allow them to vent their anger. Okay, so they should express themselves freely, open communication. And that also, aids the process of healing in the conflict. So, and that makes restorative justice very easy. Then we'll talk about the facilitator guides the process. That is, in a restorative cycle, there must be a facilitator, right? Because you cannot just allow people to sit and they will argue and then there will be no control. So you have to have a facilitator who is regulating, who speaks and who is next to speak. Do you understand? And then also take emphasis where possible. And then the facilitator guides the process, ensuring that discussions are respectful and productive. Do you understand? In as much as we are angry, in as much as the emotions are very hard, what do you expect to do? speak respectfully, all right? Speak respectfully and make the communication productive. That's what we're talking about here. So even if you are aggrieved, even if you are angry, even if your emotions are very high concerning the matter in question, what you need to do is you need to speak calmly and respectfully. And even if you are going to talk on the top of your voice, make it be respectful. All right. And then we'll talk about participant collaboratively identify the harm caused, explore the underlying causes, and develop a solution. All right. So you put the situation down. So what is the problem? Okay, this is what happened. All right. Okay, what causes it? You begin to ask questions because you are exploring the issue. Okay, you identify the issue. Now you are beginning to ask questions. What causes this issue? All right. What causes the misunderstanding? What causes the conflict? All right. And then you now develop a solution to the problems you have identified, and also deal with the root causes of the problem. So by so doing, you are on the process of restoring justice. So let's look at victim offender mediation. Victim offender mediation as one of the restorative justice practices. All right, victim offender mediation. Now, victim offender mediation involves a structured dialogue between the victim and the offender. All right, facilitated by a trained mediator. It could be you in this class now, to address the harm caused by the offense and find a resolution. Now, in this class now, we are going to train you in such a way that it's very unfortunate that this training is not going to be holistic. Like, it's not going to cover all the modules, but we expect that with the knowledge you are going to have here today, you should be able to resolve conflicts. I get a point now. So in case you are in a situation whereby it involves a victim and offender, all right, and there's a structured dialogue that is in such a way that everybody is given opportunity to talk, and then the next person also talk, and it continues like that. Do you understand? Until you find a solution, then this is what we call victim offender mediation. That's you are mediating between the victim and the offender. All right, you bring them together and then sit them down, and then they discuss the problem, discuss the issue, and make sure that they find a solution to their problem. All right. Then what are the key elements you are going to look at when you are dealing with victim offender mediation? The victim has an opportunity to express the impact of the offense and ask questions. All right. So if you are the victim, you express yourself, how you were affected, how you were harmed, all right, how you were, maltreated or mishandled, and then you ask questions as much as possible. Or maybe you are a victim of certain circumstances, or maybe your rights were abused, all right, and so you ask certain questions, and then the offender also take responsibility for their actions, okay, and then acknowledges the harm caused, all right, and work towards making amends. All right, that's what it means. So offender must also take responsibility, because you cannot offend someone and cannot take a responsibility. You must take responsibility, and you must also acknowledge the fact that you caused the harm, because only when you acknowledge the did something wrong, and then secondly, what do? You take responsibility, you take action, that's what you need to do, and then work towards making amends. Yes, just take it upon yourself that the situation is going to change. It's not going to continue the way it is. Do you understand? So that's what it means. So the mediator facilitates communication, helps parties reach agreement, and monitors progress. And this is our network. Which one are we using? Which of them? Disconnect here.
Yes. Notice.
Maybe we should switch line.
To the phone. Connect it.
The network one. Have we switched? If I'm having a network challenges, I'll come back soon. Thank you. Do switch. What which network are we using? Hmm?
It's better.
All right, you're welcome back. Oh, I am back. So thank you for still staying with us. So I was talking about victim offender mediation. So we say that you give the victim opportunity to express his or herself, and then you also give the offender the opportunity to acknowledge the fact that he or she committed the harm and then take responsibility. So the mediator facilitates communication, help parties to reach agreements and monitor compliance with agreed upon action. So that is the job of the mediator. You monitor the mediation process, and then at the end of the day, you make sure that agreement is reached and the implementation is followed suit. So that's what it means. So we're going to another element of restorative justice, which is restorative conferencing. All right, restorative conferencing brings together all parties involved in a crime or conflict, including victims, offenders, and their respective supporters, to discuss the harm caused, address underlying issues, and develop a plan for moving forward. So in this case now, you are not just bringing the offender and the victim alone, but you are bringing the entire team, even their supporters, all right, together for a discussion to make sure that the problem is resolved, a solution is discovered for progress. And then what are the key elements you are going to consider when you are talking about restorative conferencing? Where participants share their perspective and experiences in a structured and supportive environment. All right. So in this kind of situation, you give everybody opportunity, or in their groups, if they are in groups, you give them, maybe they have group leaders, and then they present them, everybody communicates their opinions, they have people appointed to speak on behalf of the group and things like that, until you find a solution. Then we'll talk about discussions focus on repairing harm, restoring relationship, and preventing future harms. All right. So the discussion is not just to solve the problem that is at hand, but also to put in place mechanism to make sure that the problem does not repeat itself. So that's what it means. So when you're talking about restorative conferencing, all right, then agreement reached during the conference may include approaches, all right, to people, apologies rather, people apologize, all right, and then restitution where possible. You have to restore maybe material things or whatever, and to the owner or the rightful owners, you do it. Then community services where maybe some communities may even have to give you an opportunity or a kind of punishment, like to go and do community service, all right? Yes, to do community service or other actions aimed at accountability and what restoration. So just to make sure that there's a balance, okay, there must be either a disciplinary measure put in place or whichever way that you people have agreed upon based on the consequence and the offenses involved. So that's what it means. So let's look at another aspect of restorative justice, which is community restorative justice program. Community restorative justice program. Community restorative justice program involves local communities in addressing conflicts, harm, and crimes through restorative approaches. These programs often involve trained volunteers who facilitate restorative processes and support those affected by harm. All right. So this one is more of something that happens at the community level, where all the communities come together, where maybe there are crises, like in oil regions, where people are always fighting over resources. Maybe they'll come, maybe one clan with another having issues, they'll come together and then sit down to discuss their problem. So community members are engaged in addressing conflict and supporting those affected by harm. Restorative processes are tailored to the needs and preferences of the community. So you're not just going to just go and bring something, a solution from somewhere. No, the solution must be tailored to fit the needs of the community in question. or the communities in question. So community restorative justice programs aim to build social cohesion, strengthen community connections, and reduce reliance on punitive responses. All right. So it's more of trying to strengthen relationship. It's more of trying to bring cohesion among the community people, but not necessarily focusing on punishment. Okay, in the other one, the previous one we discussed, we say some kind of community service. It's look more or less like a kind of punishment, all right, but a kind of lesser punishment. And then, but this one, you are trying to just mend relationships, strengthen relationship, and also bring understanding among community people. So that's what you're trying to do here, all right. So let's progress. We talk about restorative practices in schools. In our schools, how can we bring the issue of restorative practices in our schools? All right. Restorative practices are increasingly used in schools to address conflict, build positive relationships, and create a supportive learning environment. All right. Those practices can include restorative cycle, peer mediation, and restorative justice conferences. So now you bring in schools, you can bring the children together, they sit in a cycle like we have talked about before, and then that demonstrates equality, all right? Because they are kind of a peer, and so they are in a group, they have to discuss their problem. So they sit together and discuss whatever is the problem, all right, in the group. And then we talk about also peer mediation. You can even be there also to facilitate. There must be a mediator. That can be a teacher, all right? So teachers must be trained as well to be able to mediate in conflict that occurs between and among the students in school, all right? So what are the elements you are going to find in this case? Teachers and students are trained in restorative principles and communication skills, all right? That's what I'm saying. Teachers and students alike are trained to be able to respond effectively and communicate effectively in situations like this. Restorative circles are used to address conflict, build restorative responses, and build community and promote empathy. All right, restorative responses are integrated into disciplinary processes to focus on repairing harm, fostering accountability, and supporting student development. So that's what it means. So this is how you apply restorative justice in school or in a school situation. For those of you that are teachers in this case, when there's a need for you to resolve conflicts between and among the students, then you should try to use the restorative practices we have discussed here. Use the restorative cycle, use also conferencing, restorative justice conferences, or peer mediation. Okay, these are the things you're going to use to resolve conflicts among the students in your class or in your school. Yeah, let's talk about let's look at Unit 2 of Module 2. And Unit 2 and Module 2, we are talking about mediation and peace building. All right, mediation and peace building. All right, so let's look at the role of mediation. We have defined mediation before. All right, so because we say mediation is what? It's a process whereby a trusted third party intervenes in a conflict between and among the fighting groups, all right? So that is mediation for you. And we say that mediation plays a crucial role in resolving conflict by providing a structured and facilitated negotiation process that helps parties in dispute reach a mutually acceptable agreement. So how does, what role does mediation plays in resolving conflicts? One, neutral third-party facilitation. Neutral third-party facilitation. Or if you want me to qualify it, trusted neutral third-party facilitation. Do you understand? There must be somebody in between called the mediator. All right, and this person must be trusted. All right, it must be a person that cannot take side. Okay, somebody that can stand in the neutral. That's what we say neutral. It's not coming to take side or to show that to sympathize with anybody. Just maintain the neutral ground as much as expected. And then we talk about empowerment of parties. Empowerment of parties. Mediation empowers the parties involved in conflict resolution process by giving them control over the outcome, because you are, as a mediator, you are not going to enforce any decision on the parties in conflict. You give them opportunity to discuss their own problem and discuss proposed solutions by themselves and arrive at the agreed, solution. So that's how we are going to do it. So you're not going to impose anything. That's what we say mediation empowers what? The parties involved. Then confidentiality. Confidentiality is another requirement or another role that mediation plays in conflict resolution. All right, because as a mediator, whatever that happens, is between you and the parties involved. You cannot go and say it anywhere. Do you understand? And if you must make reference regarding the matter, then you must not bring the identity of the parties involved into play. Do you understand? You must make your statement, just to give an instance, on a neutral basis, not to mention names of people or identity of those people involved. All right, so you are to maintain 100% confidentiality when you are trying to mediate in any matter, because if a party to the conflict hears that his matter was being discussed somewhere, then that person will never ever trust you again. So if you want to be trusted as a professional mediator, then you should be able to have the capacity to keep people secret, secret. All right, it's not something that somebody tells you something today, tomorrow they hear it everywhere. It's on the street of Abuja or on the street of Lagos, everywhere. Everybody's, that's not what it is. Or is the reason why it's something that you go and use and do content online. No, 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 no. Don't go and use people's cases to go and do content, and you must do. Then the identity of people involved must be hidden. All right. Then cost effective. Cost effective. Mediation is also cost effective when you compare to going to court. Do you understand? Mediation is very cheap, it's affordable, and it's effective, and it's less time consuming. Do you understand? Parties just come discuss their problem and they resolve. But if you take your matter to court, it will take months, years to even arrive at whatever you're looking at. So, and sometimes not even in your favor. But in mediation, the role of the mediator is to make sure that every party wins. So there's no loser. Everybody's a winner in this kind of situation. So preservation of relationship. Another role that mediation aims to achieve in resolving conflict is preserving relationship. All right. Yes. If you were once good friends before crisis came, you should be able to restore the relationship. You should be able to preserve the relationship. Yes, and that is why Obama said we can disagree without being disagreeable. We can disagree as friends, but we can still continue as friends. Do you understand? You must not end the relationship. Okay? You must not end the relationship. You can still forge together and then understand one another better. Creative solutions. Mediation encourages parties to think outside the box and come up with creative solutions that meet the interests of all parties involved. This flexibility can lead to more innovative and sustainable agreements. Do you understand? It's not something agreement that you reach here today. Tomorrow you turn your back. You say I was not part of it. You say I didn't mean business. No, you should mean business. You should take decisions that can be validated anywhere, anytime, and that decision and solutions that you are ready to act upon. Do you understand? The solution that you are ready to commit to wholeheartedly. Nobody's going to force you. You are going to do it willingly. Do you understand? Because you want to solve the problem. So foster faster resolution. Another thing is that mediation, quickens the resolution of conflicts. All right, it's make sure that solutions are achieved at a high speed. Then we'll talk about voluntary process. Mediation is a voluntary process. So we talk about conflict resolution as part of also dialogue. When you dialogue, through dialogue, conflicting parties can work together to identify common ground, explore shared interests, and find mutually acceptable solutions to their differences. So that's what dialogue help you to do as well. Then reconciliation and healing. Another major role that dialogue help you to do is reconciliation. When you discuss and engage in conversation, in that process, you reconcile your differences. Like I said before, somebody will tell you about somebody, and then you don't know about the person, but you start hating the person when you have not even met the person. But by the time you meet the person and then begin to converse with the person, you discover that there are certain things that you cannot reconcile with what the person was telling you, with what you are hearing here. Do you understand? So in the process, you reconcile your differences, and also it facilitates healing. In the places where people who are good friends before and have left can come together and still discuss and then find a solution, and healing also come to play. Then policy development and implementation. You know, dialogue also help to develop policy and then facilitate what development. Then another thing is community engagement. Community engagement. Community engagement. Dialogue engages communities in peace-building effort, empowering individuals and groups to take ownership of the peace process and work together towards a common goal of building sustainable peace in their respective communities. So this is what it means. So dialogue is a very important tool in conflict resolution. And in situation whereby it looks as if there's no solution, engage in dialogue. Bring the parties that are involved. Like communities, sometimes they will gather before Igwe and then they begin to discuss, all right? Or you come before the Oba, or you come before the Emir, all the people gather, they begin to discuss, they dialogue until they find a solution to the problem, and then that brings development. So let's look at some of the case studies. Are there case studies to look into to see where effort towards mediation and peace building works? Are there such areas where there were conflicts and then the effort of mediators and peace builders, brought about solution? Let's look at some of the area case studies. Let's look at a very good case study from Northern Ireland. Okay, we talk about Good Friday Agreement. Good Friday agreement? Good Friday Agreement took place. It's a kind of it's like the agreement took place on a Good Friday. Do you understand? Maybe the negotiation and the mediation process took place on a Good Friday, so they decided to name it Good Friday Agreement. Do you understand? In Northern Ireland. So the Good Friday Agreement reached in 1998 with the help of mediation by various parties, including the United States. Yesterday, I told you that a mediator can be who? A mediator can be an individual, it can be an entity, it can be a nation, okay? It can be a private or a non-governmental organization. It can be a professional institution like our own, all right? That's what mediators do, and these are people that we consider as mediators, right? So this conflict was resolved with the help of the US, United States of America, and other parties involved. They play a significant role in ending a decade or decades of conflict in Northern Ireland between the Unionists and the Nationalists. And what was the problem? The agreement established power sharing, okay? So the problem was how they can distribute political positions. And this is where the issue was, the kind of power rotation, the same kind of problem we are having in Nigeria here, how we can rotate power among the major ethnicity or among the regions, all right? Whether we are going to consider it on these six geopolitical zones. But, it has not been so. Do you understand? So, and they were having a similar case like this. and then they went into mediation, and this issue was able to be resolved, and then power sharing was also defined, and then this paved way toward a peaceful northern Ireland we know today. We know that Ireland also is one of the most peaceful nations in the world, but they were in crisis before. But they decided to engage the instrumentality of mediation and peace building. And what happened? Today, Ireland, Northern Ireland is one of the most peaceful countries in the world. You know, Northern Ireland, they came out of Britain, all right? Just like we still have Scotland and Wales, still part of the United Kingdom. They came out of United Kingdom, all right? And then they are on their own. So they turned peace accord, that is Bosnia and Herzegovina. So they too had issues after the break of the Soviet Union. All right, what happened? These two groups, began to have problems, but peace was brokered in 1995 by international mediators and ended the war in Bosnia and Herzegovina. The agreement divided the country into two entities, and that's why the name appeared the way it is. You understand? The agreement divided the country into two entities and established a framework for power sharing and reconciliation among the different ethnic groups. So that's why we have the Bosnia and Herzegovina as a country. It's a one country, but because of that agreement, they divide them into two entities, and now they have two entities, but they know how they rotate their power, and then there is no problem anymore. So we have in South Africa, we experience the power of mediation also in South Africa. South Africa's transition to democracy, mediation effort led by figures like Nelson Mandela played a crucial role in South Africa's transition from apartheid to democracy in the early 1990s. So negotiation between the apartheid government and the African National Congress, ACN, resulted in the peaceful end of institutionalized racial segregation and the establishment of a new democratic government. And today, South Africa is enjoying a smooth democracy. I get a point now, it's enjoying smooth democracy. Then we'll talk about the Liberian peace process. Liberia also was once in crisis, right? Very serious one. The Liberian peace, some of our Nigerian soldiers went on peacekeeping in Liberia. They understand, they were there. So the Liberian peace process led to the end of the devastating civil war in Liberia, right, under the leadership of international actors like the United Nations and regional organizations such as the Economic Community of West Africa. Nigeria, some of our soldiers that went on peacekeeping went there under the auspices of what? The ECOMOG, which is under what? ECOWAS. So negotiation culminated in the Accra Comprehensive Peace Agreement in 2003, which paved the way for what the resignation of President Charles Taylor and established a transitional government. Some of us were aware of this crisis, all right? You know Charles Taylor very well, right? And the kind of crisis Liberia faced at that time. And so this was mediated and it was resolved and he resigned, and today Liberia is also enjoying their democracy. Then we have Mozambique Peace Agreement. The Mozambique Peace Agreement signed in 1992 ended a 16-year civil war between the government and the rebel group, the Renamo. Mediation effort led by the community of St. Egidio, a Roman Catholic-led association, played a crucial role in bringing the warring parties to the negotiation table and facilitating a peace agreement. So these are the efforts that we have come to show you that, okay, mediation too is a very powerful tool that you can use in resolving whatever kind of conflict you have, all right? So far as the parties to the conflict are willing to come to a negotiation table, then there can be a discussion, there can be a facilitation, and then there can be also a resolution to the conflict. So once parties are willing to participate in the mediation process, then there is high probability that the conflict will be resolved. We also have some of the examples. South Sudan peace agreement. When South Sudan broke from Sudan, what happened? Immediately the issue between who controls who, government began to play out politics, and then there was serious division. Even today they are still suffering, but it has reduced. Where there was so much problem, the tension was able to be mediated upon, and then the two leaders able to forge ahead, the president and the vice president, because that's why the problem started. And today they are enjoying relative peace to some extent. Do you understand? So Burundi peace process, the Arusha Peace and Reconciliation Agreement for Burundi, signed in 2000, helped bring an end to the civil war in Burundi. The agreement, mediated by former South African President Nelson Mandela, established a power-sharing arrangement and a framework for political transition and reconciliation in the country. So Nelson Mandela did not just solve the problem in his own country, he was also all over trying to solve the problem in other countries. I remember when former President Olusegun Obasanjo also traveled to Ethiopia to go and intervene between the Ethiopian government and the Tigray. So he was there on his own accord to do that, but it did not work as expected. So Ivorian crisis mediation, Ivory Coast also was in a situation in the picture, okay? And then mediation efforts led by the African Union and ECOWAS were able to bring to solution to the conflict in Ivory Coast. So these are some of the critical examples that we have to show you. So these case studies demonstrate the importance of mediation, negotiation, and dialogue in resolving conflict and promoting peace in Africa and anywhere in the world. So international and regional actors have played significant roles in facilitating peace process and helping African countries transition from conflict to stability and development. So in many African countries today, we are experiencing relative peace. All right, to some extent, you can see South Africa is doing well, Rwanda is doing well. You understand? In terms of conflict, even Ghana also is a peaceful country, despite the fact that they have even the Christian and Muslims in Ghana. They are doing well. Do you understand? In terms of peace. So these are the things that we'll talk about here, and I believe that you guys are following and you are understanding as well. So if you are following and you are understanding and you have questions, you can ask the question. I will respond to them after I am done with my presentation. I can go through your questions, your comment section, and respond. And if you are following, let me know that you are following. And if you are confused, let me know so that I can also go back to where you are confused. So let's continue. Let's look at Unit 3. We are going to look at human rights education and global citizenship. Human rights education and its role in promoting peace. So human rights education is an essential process that aims to build knowledge, awareness, and skills related to human rights principles, value, and standard. It's only when you know your rights that you can be able to defend them. If you are not aware of your rights, how can you defend them? Even if your rights are violated, you may not know, because you are not aware of what constitutes your rights. All right. So human rights education is very important and key. All right. So let's look at what it involves. Human rights involves teaching individuals about their rights and responsibilities. Right to life, right to vote and be voted for, right to education. All of these things are rights that we have, right? As well as promoting respect for the rights of others in order to empower individuals to become active and responsible global citizens who can contribute to a more just and peaceful society. So knowing your rights is a critical element of your life. That is one thing that you must know. As a citizen of your country, as a global citizen, you must know what are your rights, what constitutes your rights, so that anywhere you find yourself, you'll be able to defend your rights where your rights are being violated. Do you understand? Are being abused. So let's look at what this means. So in what ways human rights education promote peace? Let's look at the various ways that human rights education promote peace. Uh, One is promoting understanding and tolerance, right? So if you know your rights, so you know also that that is the right of others as well, because the rights that we enjoy are you know, they are rights that everybody also stand a chance to enjoy. All right. So you know that this is my right. So you also know that that is another person's also right. Do you understand? So what that promotes is it promotes understanding and tolerance. Then you begin to respect one another. You have respect to each other based on the fact that the same rights you claim you have, So we're talking about human rights education. We say that the best way you can be able to defend your rights and the rights of others is when you understand your rights and that of others. And when that is violated, you are able to deal with. So let's go through it. And then, so we're discussing the ways in which we can, know that we know our rights, or human rights education can promote peace. We talk about promoting understanding and tolerance. Also, we talk about empowering individuals, preventing conflicts, right? By promoting respect for human rights and the rule of law, human rights education can help prevent conflict and build more resilient and inclusive societies. So when we have respect to societies that have respect for the rule of law, yes, relative peace, they're enjoying peace. All right. It's not in the situation whereby our own here, the only the law favors those that are well to do. No, but in other environments, everybody is equal before the law. Do you understand? But here, there are some people that are more than the law. Okay, they are more powerful than the laws we have. So let's look at building a culture of peace. Human rights education contributes to the development of culture of peace by promoting values such as tolerance, empathy, solidarity, and respect for diversity. Right? So when you know the right, your right and that of others, one thing that is in place is that you respect other people's values and their culture. And then that brings about tolerance. In case there is any form of misunderstanding, you tolerate one another. Do you understand? So that there cannot be any form of jungle justice. Do you understand? You cannot come and do jungle justice, uh, you know, because you understand someone's right and that of yours, and you know your limitation and you know the limitation of the other person as well. So by instilling these values in individuals from a young age, human rights education helps to create a foundation for peaceful coexistence. So we have to catch them young, right from secondary, primary school. We need to teach them their rights, let them know what their right is. And that's why, as an institution, we are intending to establish peace clubs in primary and secondary school so that we can teach them what peace is all about. All right. So we bring them up in the way of peace so that by the time they grow up, they'll make our society better. You understand? So fostering social justice. Human rights education also plays a crucial role in promoting social justice and equality. By raising awareness about human rights violations and inequalities, human rights education can mobilize individuals to take action to address these issues. All right, so that you can have like we have what we call justice forum in our institution. This justice forum comprises of lawyers, or rather, it comprises of lawyers, mediators, arbitrators. Do you understand? So their own is to make sure that those that are in prisons or in cells who, on account of whatever crime they have not committed, those kind of people can get justice. Do you understand? People will be there to fight for them. People will be there to speak for them. People whose rights have been abused, we should have people that will fight for them. That's why we're having that group, okay? And we call it the Justice Forum Group, all right? So the people that are professionals, lawyers, arbitrators, mediators, they are going to be part of that group. And they are the ones to go after those people that are suffering unjustly. So they will go there and make sure that they get justice. Do you understand? They make sure that this will have a voice. All right. That's why we say when we are inducting people in our institute, we say you be a voice to the voiceless. Do you understand? Being a voice to the voiceless means that you will speak for them when they don't understand where their right is. You understand. So you speak for them. You stand for them. You fight for them. That's what peace education helps you to do. So let's talk about global citizenship and intercultural understanding. global citizenship and what intercultural understanding. Please, we are coming close to the end of our lecture. So I hope if you have a question you ask, just and you have not comment so that your name will show that you have joined the training both on Facebook, on Zoom, on YouTube rather. So let's talk about global citizenship. Global citizenship refers to a sense of belonging to a broader global community and recognizing one's interconnectedness with people around the world. Global citizens are aware of the social, political, economic, and environmental challenges facing our planet and actively engage in addressing these issues through responsible and ethical actions. Global citizenship emphasizes values such as empathy, solidarity, respect for diversity, and a commitment to promoting social justice and human rights on a global scale. You know, let me give one critical example of global citizenship I'm talking about here. If you look at it very well, when there's something that happened maybe in Iran, our brothers in the north will protest. That is the sense of what global citizenship. That is, they are showing empathy towards the people in that area that are into conflict. We are all sympathizing with the Palestinian people today. Why? Because they are in a difficult situation. Okay, and as a global citizen, what do you think? You have to put them into perspective. Some people are even contributing their own money to make sure that the people suffering there receive aid. Do you understand? So that's what it means. People are raising funds just to make sure that they attend to the needs of those people suffering. That's what global citizenship means. So you can go anywhere, you can travel to any place, and you can also live because you understand your rights. Intercultural understanding. Intercultural understanding involves recognizing, respecting, and appreciating the diversity of cultures. Okay? So in Nigeria, we have several cultures. We have several beliefs. We have the Islamic beliefs, we have the Christian beliefs, we have the traditional beliefs, and so many other beliefs. All right. In India, we have the you know what we call the Islam. They are there. Do you understand? The Buddhists are there. Do you understand? All of them are form of belief system. So perspective that exists in our interconnected world. It is about bringing cultural differences, promoting dialogue. Do you understand? Yes, our diversity should make us strong and beautiful. It shouldn't be a point of division. It shouldn't be a point of crisis. Do you understand? So that's what it means. So that's what intercultural understanding means. Know that other person's culture, corroborate your own and make our society beautiful. Do you understand? That's what we should understand. It's not by creating division. It doesn't give us the opportunity to begin to divide people and based on the way they dress, based on the way they speak, based on the way they eat. No, that's not what it is. Peace education gives you opportunity to understand people's culture and respect them, understand their belief system and respect them. All right, because that's their way of life. Respect them on that basis, and then they also respect you on that basis, and then like that we go together as a people. So that's what it means. So together, global citizenship and intercultural understanding are essential for promoting peace, social cohesion, and sustainable development in an increasingly interconnected and diverse world. By cultivating these values and skills in individuals and communities, we can build a more inclusive and harmonious global society where diversity is celebrated, right? And we'll be doing more on diversity in our next free training. We are going to go on diversity management so that you understand what diversity management is all about. Conflicts are resolved peacefully, and cooperation thrives for the collective well-being of all people. So that is what it means. So lastly, what we're going to consider tonight, we're going to look at promoting diversity, inclusivity, and social justice. So this is our last topic today, and I know that you are following, and if you are following, just make us to know that you are following, ask questions, make comment, right? Make a contribution so that somebody will read your comment and learn something as well. That's what we're talking about here. Okay, so let me keep seeing your comments coming in. So now let's look at promoting diversity, inclusivity, and social justice. Key strategies for promoting these values: education and awareness. One of the benefits that you are going to enjoy from this training is the education, the knowledge you have acquired concerning peace education. Some of you know things that you knew nothing about before as a result of this training. And then it also serves as an awareness. One of the mandates that we have as an institution is to carry out public education, all right, so that people can be aware, people can know what they're supposed to know. You understand? So education and awareness is very key. And that's what we have in our country. We have what we call National Orientation Agency. The role of National Orientation Agency is to communicate and promote values of our society. You understand? So that everyone will know. Creating inclusive spaces, all right? Building inclusive spaces where all individuals feel respected, valued, and empowered is key to promoting diversity and inclusivity. Don't look down on anybody. Don't feel that this person will not amount to anything. No. Respect everybody you meet. It doesn't matter their class. It doesn't matter your own class. Do you understand? Let's respect one another. We are all human. Okay? Now, if we are valued and respected, then that is reciprocal. Okay? They say respect, you get respect. Do you understand? So once you respect me, I respect you. Once you value me, I value you. Once you value my religion, I value your religion. Once you respect my culture, I respect your culture. It's just like that. So once we get this thing, we will not have any problem. Promoting equal opportunities. Don't manipulate what deals for them. What is not for you, don't insist on taking it. If you are in a government position, the budget meant for the people, give it to them. What is meant for you, take it. Nobody will come for it. Do you understand? So promoting equal opportunity, don't feel that others should die, then you live. No, you will be creating more problem for yourself. And that's why we are not having peace in our own country. Kidnapping everywhere, bandits here, this one there, because of high economic inequalities. Do you understand? So promote equal opportunities. Then advocacy and activism. Some of you are activists. You go and protest. We are heading it. I think there's a planned protest that is going to come up. So some of you will be part of it, but if you must be part of it, be peaceful. All right. Most protests in our country always turn into violence, and that's the very bad aspect of it. But protest is also an instrument, it's a legal instrument of change. You can protest without destroying anything, and your attention will be held. You must not destroy something before your attention will be held. So, celebrating diversity, celebrate one another, celebrate one another. You meet with an Igbo man, celebrate him. You meet with a Hausa person, celebrate him. You meet with a Yoruba person, celebrate him. Are you going on? We have been traveling, we used to travel for induction all over Nigeria. Abuja, Lagos, Port Harcourt, Enugu. We have not had any issue with anybody. We celebrate each other, we interact freely, we do business together, we move on. We eat their local food. Like, when we are tired of eating Chicken Republic, we go local, eat local food. You understand? That's what it means. Celebrate each other. That's what it means. Eat with them, be like them. Addressing systemic inequality. Systemic inequality, we have been talking about structural imbalance for us in our country here. We have been talking about structural imbalances. Do you understand? They are there with us. And these are systemic injustices that we're talking about, inequalities that we're talking about. I saw one list yesterday online where they proposed new states and local government, where we are going to have 777 states in each region. And then we're also going to have 20 local government in each state. So that there will be equality, there will be uniformity. Not that we have, in Kano now, we have over 44 local government, while other state doesn't have up to that number. You understand? So these are the things. So this kind of imbalances causes conflict and they cause tension in society. So that's what it means. So by promoting diversity, inclusivity, and social justice, we can build communities and society that are more resilient, compassionate, and equitable. So that is what we need to do. So thank you very much. Tomorrow we'll be looking at non-violent communication and conflict transformation in Module 3. Our target is to reach Module 4. And we have 2 days left for our training. So let's see how possible we can be able to achieve that. But tomorrow we are going to look at non-violent communication and conflict transformation. So thank you very much for being part of the training today. I'm going to the comment section. I will check your questions. If I see your questions, I can respond as much as possible before calling it a day. We are very sorry the network was so bad. Somebody is asking, Mr. Let me bring the question. Suleiman Salim is asking, so does it mean that the state as a fundamental guarantor of rights can derogate rights enshrined to individuals whenever it wishes to do so? It's not supposed to be so. Do you understand? The state is supposed to protect and defend the rights of the people. But we have problem with our system. That's why we're talking about systemic inequalities and injustices that happen, okay? So because these things, people who are in position abuse their powers and their authorities and the rights they have, they abuse it. And that's why they use the instrumentality of government to do the things that they are doing. It's not supposed to be so. The state is supposed to protect the rights of its people, you understand, and defend them where necessary. But in situation whereby they decide to use the instrument that's supposed to protect the people and they are abusing people, it means that there's a wrong system, there's a problem somewhere. So that's what it simply means. State is not permitted to do, if we understand the social contract, if you understand the social contract, like people contributed their rights just to form a state. Do you understand? So the state out is just like go and be our eye there. So they're supposed to represent us. They are supposed to protect us, not to come and be doing as if they are doing us a favor. Do you understand? So they are not doing us a favor. It's a lack of. It's just ignorance. It's ignorance, lack of education, lack of human rights education. Some of them don't know anything concerning human rights education. You understand? Some of them don't know what is even their rights and that of others. So that is the problem. Yes, everybody's complaining network issue. We actually had a very terrible network today, but we hope that it will improve tomorrow. So don't be discouraged. We'll see what we can do tomorrow concerning the matter of network.
Just asking that can be sent to their email material.
And then the material can also be sent. After the training, we are going to give out the material. So you will have the manual. You can also go through it at your own space. So there's no challenge. And give the manual as well. And like I was saying, maybe there may be need for us to give a test so that we know those who participated in this training genuinely. So you will not come and get certificate that you cannot be able to defend. So we may decide to conduct a test so that we can see those that if you pass, we give certificate. If you not pass, we discover that you did not participate in the training. So that's what it means. All right. So, well, whichever way, we'll decide as we progress. And maybe we'll sample your opinions to hear what you will decide. If we insist that we give certificate without question, then we'll know that these people don't follow us well. All right. All right. Well, thank you so much for those of you that have taken your time to be part of today's meeting. We hope to see you tomorrow. I was able to see only one question. Somebody's asking, Women's Center for Self-Empowerment and Development. Women's Center for Self-Empowerment and Development is asking, what are the best ways or topics to engage secondary school on the areas of peace, education, or engaging them on peace clubs? And there are so many things you can do to engage young people, all right? You can engage them by organizing peace activities. It can be football competition, it can be quiz competitions on peace-related issues. And then also topics on the issue of bullying in schools, do you understand? And then issues like inferiority complex, where when they don't understand their rights. So that's human rights education. Can also be educating them about their rights, educating them about the culture of other people, and then their belief system, intercultural distance. So there are so many topics on religion. You can also organize things like that. But because I can tell you for free that these young people know, young children, they know their differences, that I am a Muslim, this one is a Christian. Do you understand? We are grow up with that kind of mentality. So you can organize training on those things and see how you can bridge the gap that exists between all those divides. So this is what we're talking about. And so there are several topics that you can use to educate young people in secondary schools. And then you can also put activities in place. Like in our peace clubs, we are acting some kind of themes to educate them. Okay, and then you can also tell stories. All right, stories also will help them to understand. And then you can share stories with them. Some will be past experiences and how they can behave when such kind of situation happen in the areas. All right. So what somebody's also asking a question again there. Mr. Solomon Christian is asking, what if the victims and the offender are so violent and refuse dialogue? In this case, what would the mediator do? The mediator can use other instrument of conflict resolutions that we discussed yesterday. Do you understand? So, and then apply it. But as much as possible, we said yesterday that if the emotions are very high, we say you should take a break. That's what we said yesterday. So it's really whereby their emotions are very high and nobody's giving you attention. Calm down. Give them time a bit. Okay, when they calm down, then you come to discussion. That's what we say yesterday. So where the parties to the conflict are so violent and they're not coming down, give them a break. Once they calm down, then you begin to discuss the matter. Or you can decide to deploy other instrument of conflict resolution to resolve their conflicts. So where people are dominantly uneducated, how do we promote peace and conflict? All right. Thank you very much. Mr. Friday is asking, or Ruko is asking, where people are dominantly uneducated, how do we promote peace and conflict resolution? Sometimes when we talk about education, people feel that it's just about Western education, that you must go to formal education before you become educated. Yes, it can be a religious education, but In that education, you can also impute the element of peace, and then you can speak to them in their language. Okay, let them, they understand their language. All right, so speak to them in their language and explain to them what that means, so they will understand it. So if it's Islamia, if it's an Islamia, impute the element of peace in Islamia, and discuss with them in their language, let them understand what it means. You understand? So if it is a kind of traditional education, whatever form of education at all, formal, informal, all right? If it's a non-formal education, you can still, communicate element of peace with them. Maybe you have a workshop where you have apprentices that are learning under you. That is a kind of non-formal education, all right? So while you are training them on that, you can impute element of peace, teach them the right things to do. You understand? So that's what it means. So there's, and you can communicate with them in the language they will understand. So it mustn't be in English. Sometimes even like we like this now, if you have something to do in the something in any place where people are not, majority of them don't understand English, we can get the locals there who understand the English to interpret, okay, interpretation. And then we can also bring up professionals that can speak their language so that they can speak with them so they will understand it. So once you are able to communicate in the language they understand, I'm telling you, those things will take place. And whatever you want them to do, they will do. When you go for violence, how do they react? That's why they have been responding now. So that's it. So they can also respond to peace element as well. Just as they respond to violence, so they will also respond to peace element. Yes, somebody is asking, Adele is asking, great and explicit lecture where explained. Will there be any assistance for having peace clubs in schools, like teaching aids and materials? Yes, like I say, we are going to act films, script stories, and then also have other materials that we can be using for our peace clinic, and then other activities. And then apart from that, we will be uh, partnering with state governments or local governments and other institutions to make sure that all the activities we want to do in a peace clinic, peace club are there. So in case you want to start a peace club and you need some kind of materials, all right? Yes, you can let us know. We can support you as much as our strength can carry us. But where we have partners that are willing to also support what we are doing, then it will be easier for you to get support as much as possible. But on our own, there are things that we can give you. They may not be money, but we can give you certain things that will help you to carry on your peace club. If it's something that can meet the standard for which you want, then that we can support. Or if something that will not meet our standard, we will not support it. Someone is asking, I'm still taking questions. Someone is asking, I know of Savicon sometimes back, but I have not seen anywhere, anytime they come in for people's right. What do you have to tell us about that, please? I cannot respond for Savicon, but I know that they're supposed to be up and doing, just like I talk about the issue of National Orientation Agency. They are not doing as much as we expected them to do. And so if you go to government institutions, you see Savicon is there, their boxes are there for you to respond something, to drop whatever you want to drop there. The challenge is whether they have been following up and then implementing them is what I don't know. But I'm not in the also position to respond on their behalf and why they are not doing the work they're supposed to do. But generally, that's the problem with us here. Right? We have better policies on ground, but the implementation is always a challenge. So, Dumb Shark, that's the problem. So I cannot be able to say explicitly what Savicon is doing, but I will hope that they will come back and do what they're supposed to do. Jagaba Bridget is also asking, how can we respond to the conflict as such as that of the Fulani who don't respect other human beings, and you dare that say anything, and you dare not say anything. If you do, it becomes a thing of life and property destruction. All right. It's not every Fulani person that is a bad person. And just like we have in other tribes as well, we have people, every tribe have people that are difficult to deal with. Do you understand? We have this challenge. And so we can say categorically that, yes, there are aspects of them that may not have the kind of exposure that they can promote what we're talking about. But if they are engaged and are given opportunity to also listen to and then also participate in some of the activities we are mentioning here, I believe that it will be a beautiful time to have. I have friends that are more of Fulanis and they are good friends. So I don't think it's those of them that are actually in the bush and they have ideologies that they're dealing with, that is a problem. So, but if we have such, but like I say, we can see such everywhere. Every tribe, they have such kind of people that are very trouble to deal with. Some, most especially the ignorant ones, you understand? They are not exposed. They are always difficult kind of group to deal with. But you can go through their leaders, their emirs, their local chiefs who understand them better. They can be able to call them to account for their action and inaction. So yes, you can engage them in all of those ways, and that will be done. So I think we have come to the end of today's class. I think I should end it here. Thank you very much. Some of you, maybe I will respond to your question through the chat. I will just go to the chat and respond as much as possible as I can. But by and large, we thank you very much for joining today's training, and we hope to see you tomorrow, same time in the evening by 6:30. Have a wonderful night rest. Bye.